We have seen that the most important chord change is from dominant seventh back to tonic, from G seventh to C. This interval covers 4 scale notes and is therefore a fourth, and it leads to a very interesting cycle, which is the cycle of fourths, in which C seventh would lead to F seventh, B flat seventh, E flat seventh, A flat seventh, E flat seventh, G flat seventh, B seventh, E seventh, A seventh, D seventh, G seventh, and back to C where we started. This cycle should be practiced regularly in order to find out where all the positions are of the majors and the flattened seventh chords on the guitar. There are many inversions of the seventh, as in E seventh, A7, D7, G7 and C7. To use all the inversions would take several days to work through all the combinations, but working through it, it can sound like this. We have seen that the second most important chord change is from 2 minor 7 to 5/7. And it's important to practice around the cycle of fourths using alternate minor sevenths and sevenths. But before we do that, let's look at the main minor seventh shapes. This would be A minor seventh, and this would be D minor seventh. One can also use that minor or in its minor seventh form in the cycle, and doing so it sounds something like this. So on. We will now look at the major seventh chord in its different inversions. The major seventh chord is a major triad with a natural seventh added. C major seventh is C with the first finger removed. F major seventh is F with the top string opened. And A major seventh is A with the note A on the G string flattened. And these can be played using a barré, for instance D major seventh, G major seventh, and C major seventh. Another important inversion of the major seventh can be found by taking A minor but leaving the first finger free and then placing the first finger down on F. Moving this chord up to G minor seventh. We're not playing all the strings, although the top string can be played with the heel of the first finger, and if you've got nice light strings you can even play the third as well. Although the major seventh chords don't lend themselves to a natural cycle, quite often they are used in sequence. So played as the cycle of fourths, they sound a little bit like this. There are two chords that repeat themselves up the fingerboard. This is because the intervals between all the notes is the same. In the case of the diminished chord, the intervals all correspond to a minor third, which is 3 semitones. And for this reason it repeats itself. Taking 4 notes. Another shape is found by taking A7 and adding a B flat. The other chord that repeats itself is the augmented. C augmented has the G sharpened, so we sharpen the fifth. In both major and minor keys, there is a relationship between the 4 chord and the 2 minor 7. In the major keys, for instance in C, F is pretty well the same as D minor 7. F is 4, so 4/6 is the same as 2 minor 7. In the minor keys, 4 minor 6 shares the same notes as the 2 minor 7th flattened fifth. In the minor keys, the most important change is that from 5/7 to 1 minor, or from, in this case, E7 to A minor, and that the next most important change is that from 2 minor 7 flattened fifth to 5/7. Now, the minor 7 flattened fifth comes in many inversions, and there are too many of them to cover systematically, and I'm always learning new ones. However, there are a few that we can find, such as B minor 7 flattened fifth, which incidentally uses exactly the same notes as D minor 6th, and often on sheet music you will see D minor 6th used as a substitution for B minor 7 flattened fifth. There are other inversions, and these can generally be found by taking a diminished and sharpening any note, and then taking it to the nearest seventh. The basic way of finding a minor 7th flattened fifth would be to take a minor 7 and to flatten the fifth. We then have to cover the other fifth by putting in a 7. And in the same way we follow that with a 7. In the major keys we're using a, in the minor keys we're using a, this particular shape of minor 7 flattened fifth is very interesting because there are many other notes that can be added. Most interesting is to flatten the little finger over the top 3 strings.